Hello, all you awesome and amazing healers. Today's topic is about a question I get asked very often because I'm sure you've had it in your mind as well. And that's the question is, should I heal everyone? And my response always is, and I learned this from being in a self-help group, is that healing is for those that want it, not for those that need it. So stay tuned to hear more about this topic. This is Anastasia. I used to be a physics professor specializing in vibrational and quantum physics. After recovering from a serious illness using energy healing on myself, the calling to heal became so strong that I had to quit my 40-year research career. I replaced my 6-figure professor salary within 5 months using a simple but not easy 3-step system that I worked out to grow my healing practice. Now I help other healers grow their practices, whether they're just starting or already have a practice, with this same 3-step system. I'm all about helping you too. Listen in to learn more. Thank you so much for coming back. And today's topic is about whether you should heal everyone because everyone needs healing, right? You watch so many people suffering needlessly and you think, well, I know how to help, let me do this. And healing is, in my opinion, maybe not yours, but healing is an intimate act, right? You are reaching into somebody's energy field, you're transforming them, and you have a vested interest in doing that because as a healer myself, I hate to see people suffering. Right? It's really, really hard for me to see them suffering, and a lot of times needlessly, right? It's just like watching someone go through an addiction, right? You know how to help them, and yet they have to figure out when they're ready to request the help to move past it. And it was the same for me when I was younger and before I got very sick. I didn't ask for help and I didn't even know I needed the help. I didn't know how badly my spirit was suffering from the situation I was in. And getting sick for me was my wake-up call, right? So a lot of people, it takes longer for them to get there. So as I said before, healing is for those that want it, not for those that need it. Because remember, everybody needs it at some level, but not everybody wants it. And I've offered my services to people that know me and know me well, and sometimes I'll get a response, no thank you, I'll handle it my own way. Right? And I have to respect that, even though I know that what I do can really, really help them. So that's the first. And why is it that you need to wait? Why can't you just dive in and go and help them? So what happens is that we are put on this earth to carry out and learn certain lessons and carry out certain tasks, and what you're doing is their homework for them, right? Sometimes there comes a point where you say, oh, I need help with this problem, so you go and ask questions to get someone to help you with your homework, right? But you're doing their homework for them without their permission, and when you do that, you are invading into their space. And a lot of times the universe's reaction to it is you start to take on their karma and their lessons rather than leaving it to themselves. So a lot of healers do suffer because they are not waiting for the request, please help me, right? So being very careful about who you work with, and making sure that they have permission. And here's what happens a lot of times. An adult will come to me and says, my mother is 83. Can you heal her? And I say, well, I have to talk to her about that. Well, can't you just heal her? And the thing is that maybe that 83-year-old is ready to leave the planet. Maybe they want, you don't know. So I always ask them, please have them talk to me. Well, I don't want them to know that you're healing them. And I say, well, then I can't do it, right? You'll have to find, it's better if you get their permission. And because, an 83-year-old is a grown-up person and they have autonomy and they should be able to answer the question. Now, if they're suffering dementia, that's another thing, right? I worked with a much younger woman in her early 70s that had dementia, and her husband was responsible for her, and I did healing on her through him. Right? I did healing on her and she got better, and I did not, of course, take on that karma. She had cancer and dementia, and she got better and lived quite a while afterwards from those healings. But he was responsible for her. He was the responsible party. So it's like he was her caretaker, so I got permission through him. So those are the exceptions. The other exception is children below the age of 18. Once they're at the age of 18, they're at the age of consent, right? They are now responsible adults, and that's the time that you can heal them. And and as I said, that the responsible party needs to give permission to you to do the healing. So a lot of people will say, well, everybody really needs it, so I'm going to heal other people. And and the other one I hear a lot is, I ask their higher self. Okay, your higher self is your whole self. And this physical being that you're in, including the spirit that's occupying it, is not your higher self. Your higher self will always give permission for healing because your higher self always thinks it's a good idea. But this physical self that you are here is not your higher self. And I'll tell you a story of what happened when a healer tried healing everybody by asking all of their higher selves. So my husband and I were sitting in a mastermind meeting with about 20 people. And all of a sudden, both of us got hit with these splitting migraine headaches. And I go, I don't know what just happened, but all of a sudden I got this migraine headache. And my husband says, yeah, I did too. Like, what was going on? And as we were leaving the room, as if by magic, a gentleman says, oh, I wanted all of our talk to be peaceful, negotiating, and a peaceful exchange, so I did a healing on everybody. And I said, you did? He goes, yeah, I asked everybody's higher self, and they all said it was okay. And I'm going, oh, yeah, you don't have permission to do that for me next time, okay? So we walked out, I removed whatever he did, and the headaches disappeared, right? So that was an interference and a presumption on his part that this body could tolerate his particular healing. So the other thing, the reason why the headache was caused is that in order to heal somebody efficiently and well, aside from the permission problem, is that you have to be at a higher frequency than the person that you're healing. If you're at a lower frequency, often you can mess up somebody's energy. And that's what happened. That's why my husband and I both got headaches, because he operates at a high frequency, and so do I, especially if we're in meetings. We bring our frequencies up So this gentleman was not aware of it. Anyway, I just wanted to add that aside, that healing somebody by just asking their higher self is not always a good idea. There is an exception to that, and that exception is if that person is in a coma. And I've worked with comatose patients before, and I always asked the people around them for permission, right? So I got, it was a family member, well, it was a close member, a close friend of the family, and I asked his parents, who he was an adult in his 50s and was in a coma, and I asked his parents if it was all right if I healed him. And they said yes. And then when I went in and had a conversation with the spirit that was there, he willingly became healed, right? Because if he didn't want to be healed, he would be gone by now. But he's still around after a dozen years. So that's the other exception, is if the person is not able to answer for themselves, then get permission from the people that that are in charge of them, right? So, and then the last thing that I want to address about healing other people is that when you're done, especially if you are a woman working on a man or a man working on a woman, is to make sure you pull your energy back out of them and give them their energy back. Otherwise, if you like heal 5 or 6 people in a day, you're intermixing everybody's energy, right? So you want to make sure that you reclaim your energy and give theirs back to them. So you remain clean, and you don't have your frequency admixed with a whole bunch of other people's. I mean, you could wash your hands afterwards. You could keep salt bowls of water around, like one near you where you use it as an energy toilet. You just put some salt water in a bowl. You can't use that bowl for eating afterwards. So I went to the dollar store and got a couple of cheap bowls that I put some water in, and I throw some table salt, not other kinds of salt, but throw some table salt in, the sodium chloride, NaCl, and it absorbs poopy energy. So you can just throw the poopy energy that you remove off of people into it. And the way you handle the salt bowl this is just the last thing, the way you handle the salt bowl is you act like it's a toilet, right? So you go in the bathroom and you dump the salt water after you're done for the day. Dump the salt water down the toilet, rinse it out, run that down the toilet and flush it away. You do not want to use it in your kitchen sink. You don't want to put food in it ever again because it has this low vibe in it, and you want your food and everything else to be high vibe, like you wouldn't eat a salad out of a toilet, right? So just as a piece of information. Oh, that image is kind of yucky, right? Anyway, so I hope that was helpful. So today I talked about healing is for people that want it, not for those that need it. Number 1. Number 2 is make sure you get permission, and the higher self is not enough permission. And number 3, make sure you collect your energy back afterwards and give them their energy back. And you can use a bowl of salty water to throw the poopy energy in after you're done, and make sure you treat it as if it is a toilet and not as a salad bowl or a fruit salad bowl or a bowl for soup. Okay, thank you so much for listening. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for taking valuable time out of your day to listen in. If you found this message helpful, please help spread the word by giving the broadcast a thumbs up or a 5-star rating. Share it with your friends, and be sure to subscribe to my channel with your notifications on. For further training on healing and growing your healing business using my 3-step system, go to www.highpaidhealers.com. And I'll see you in the next video.